Hey everyone, Andy Sykes here and welcome to What's New Wednesday episode 1. This is where I give you guys a look at what I've got on test, plus look at some new and noteworthy pieces of news. And for episode 1, we've got some really cool stuff, including a 13-speed drivetrain, e-bike specific shoes, Ryobi power cleaners, really cool products from Kingood to keep your bike looking good in the winter. We've got some really cool things from Project 76, and we've got interesting news from Muck-Off, Evil Bikes and Patrol Mountain. But let's kick it all off with that 13-speed drivetrain. Now, we all know that it's really difficult to get hold of products these days. If you try and get hold of a Dior drivetrain, SLX, XT, SRAM, GX, anything, it can be an absolute nightmare. So I've been looking at other options for group sets, and this year I actually tested the Microshift Advent X 10-speed wide range drivetrain, and I really liked it. And that got me thinking, what other options are there out there? Well, I came across this. This is the LTWoo AX, a 13-speed drivetrain from a Chinese brand. Now, I didn't buy this because it's a 13-speed drivetrain. I bought it because it's a little bit different, and I wanted to see if those out-of-the-box options really are worth trying. Now, this 13-speed group set costs just £130. Well, it cost me £130, but if you buy it now before Black Friday, it's just £96. And for that, you get this rear derailleur, a 13-speed rear derailleur made of steel and aluminium with a few plastic parts, but nothing like some brands. You get this 13-speed cassette as well. So this is an aluminium and steel cassette. We've got the larger sprockets are aluminium to save a bit of weight. The smaller sprockets are steel, so they don't wear out quickly. And you've got this aluminium spider on the back too. So this is an 1150. So interestingly, even though it's a 13-speed, it isn't a 51 or a 52 like the new Shimano or even Eagle group sets. This is just an 1150 group set. So you don't get massive climbing gear, you don't get a tiny fast gear, but you do get additional gears through your range. Whether they're worth having or not is a different question, but that's what I'll be testing. So the LTWoo comes with this, the cassette, the rear derailleur, and obviously you get a 13-speed shifter. And this looks a lot like a SRAM GX shifter, doesn't it? It has the AX logo on there. Looks very much like a SRAM shifter. So this is your standard trigger shifter with 13 shifts on there. You've got this banded clamp there instead of a hinge clamp, so that's kind of annoying. It means you've got to remove your brake lever, you've got to remove your grips and everything to get that on your bike. But other than that, it feels pretty good. It's all made of steel and aluminium. There's a few plastic bits here and there, but even this lower lever is all metal, so it should last pretty well. Now, I don't think it's going to be the best quality group set in the world. I've already noticed that there's a bit of corrosion on the steel cage there. You can just make that out. And also there's a bit of corrosion on the pivots here as well. Where is it? Yeah. So already there's a bit of corrosion growing there on the pivots, even though it's been in a cardboard box. It hasn't actually been ridden on the trail yet. So to see corrosion on there is kind of worrying. Also, there's no clutch on this, which means I'm going to have to use a really good quality chain device to ensure that the chain stays on. Speaking of chain, you do get a chain with the LTWoo 13-speed drivetrain, but I'm not convinced on the quality of that chain. It looks really cheap. I'm not entirely sure if this is any different from a 12-speed drivetrain. I will have to measure it to see if a different 12-speed chain can be used or if this is a specific 13-speed or not. But anyway, it's going to be an interesting experiment. So like I say, you get all of this. You also get a chain ring with it. I asked for a 32-tooth chain ring, but they've sent me a 38. But luckily, I've got a bunch of other chain rings that I can try with that. So overall, 130 quid for a drivetrain, really, really cheap. Like I say, 96 quid if you buy it during Black Friday, so even cheaper. And you don't need to go bonkers. You don't need to buy the 13-speed like I've done. You can go 11 or 12-speed. They have other options. As for fitment, the 13-speed cassette uses a Shimano HG free hub. So if you've already got Shimano Dior, if you've got an older SLX XT group set and you want to upgrade, or if you have an SX or SRAM NX drivetrain, you already have this free hub, so you don't even need to change your free hub too. This should slide right on. Like I say, how it works, no idea. And I'm not even saying, hey, 13-speed is the next best thing. In my personal preference, I really like that 10-speed Advent X. It's such a great group set. But anyway, it's nice to have options. It's nice to try new things. So what I'll be doing, I'll be producing another video all about the LTWoo AX 13-speed drivetrain to see how it works on the trail, so keep an eye out for that. Speaking of being out on the trail, if you are riding in the winter months, you need to make sure that your bike stays in good condition, and that means correct cleaning, correct lubing, and protection for your frame. Now, what I tend to do with all my bikes before I even ride in the winter, or even the summer for that matter, is Invisiframe my bikes. But even still, I still like to put a protective layer of something on that to make sure that no mud or dirt clings to it. And usually we use a silicone spray, but the problem with silicone sprays is if you get a bit overzealous with it, it can get on your discs and pads. But thankfully, Kingood, a UK-based manufacturer, has this. It's a Kingood Protect Gel. It has the same sort of properties as a silicone spray, but it's much easier and less messy to get onto your frame. And there's no possibility you're gonna get this on your discs and pads unless you actually purposely do it. What I use this for is I give my bike a really good clean, put a couple of pumps of this onto a microfiber cloth, rub it all over the frame, on the stanchions of the forks, on the rear shock, seat post, on the seat, let it dry a little bit, buff it up, and it leaves like a shiny finish, but not a super glossy finish. And it hasn't got that oily feel that some silicone sprays has. So you don't need to use much to get it working. It leaves this really nice non-stick finish. And it means that when you've been riding in the mud, when you give your bike a hose down, all that mud will just drop off really easily. And I've heard that some downhill teams use this Kingood Protect Gel as their secret weapon. So on really muddy races, really muddy stages, they tend to put a bunch of this on the down tube of their bikes to ensure that no mud builds up as the racers are racing down the hill. So pretty good tip there. It's really good stuff. The other good Kingood products are really good too. They do a spray for freshening up your helmet. They do a helmet polish as well. I'm not trying to be rude, but they have these things. They have shampoos, they have lubes. It's a really good stuff. It's all environmentally friendly, well worth checking out. This stuff though is my #1 product for this year. More cool products from UK brands. We have these really high quality, high flow, non-clog valves from 76 Projects. Now, a few weeks ago, there was a lot of talk about Reserve's new high flow valves. The thing is, they're not new. It's not a new product. 76 Projects had had a similar product on sale for months and months already, and in fact these are cheaper, whereas the Reserve valves are £40 a pair. That's right, £40 a pair. These 76 Project ones are £25 a pair. Still expensive, but for something that should last you forever, it's not a lot of money really. They come in different lengths to suit different kinds of rim profiles, so you can be a gravel rider, a road rider, a mountain biker. There will be a valve to suit your bike, and they come in black and this really cool pink. It's almost like a Toxic Barbie Burtec pink. And what's so special about these is they're a high flow design. So what they do is they let a lot of air enter into your tire, and that means when you're inflating your tubeless system for the first time, tons of air can get through these massive holes on either side and quickly inflate and seat your tire, so you won't be messing around trying to pump it up for ages. And then it has a non-clog design, so sealant won't get in here and clog things up. It's a really clever design. Look at the size of this massive Presta style valve there. So that's a really cool product. I'm not sure if I'm going to put these on my gravel bike or on my mountain bike, but I will be testing them. It looks really good. Other interesting products from 76 Project include these Enduro mounts. Now these Enduro mounts are designed for your Garmin, and it means that you can place your Garmin on the top tube of your bike rather than on the handlebar. Now there's a bunch of different Garmin options. You can have it on that aluminium arm that kind of juts your Garmin out in front of your bike. You can put your Garmin on top of your top cap using a special top cap. But those options have problems too. If you have a crash, that arm on the front is the first place where it's going to get whacked and your Garmin's going to go disappearing into a bush. And those top cap mounts, although really neat and they work really well, if you do forget to take it off when you flip your bike upside down for some trail side maintenance, you're going to end up with a very scratched up, expensive computer. So these 76 Projects Enduro mounts are a really good idea. They're 3D printed nylon. They have a really high quality 3M adhesive strip on the back, and they come in a flat and a flex design. and that allows them to fit on maybe like a carbon frame with a flat profile or a steel aluminium frame with a more rounded tube profile. Really, really neat little things. Very lightweight, super, super simple. It's one of those things that you think, I wish I'd thought of that. It's a really, really nice design. So I'll be testing these on my e-bike and my gravel bike. And one last product from 76, oh no, two more products from 76 Projects. We have these little bobbins. These are a cable hose tidy, really, really neat little thing. Again, 3D printed. And we have the Micro Piggy. This is a storage solution, so you can mount things to your bike. And as you can see, it uses the same mounting holes as maybe a bottle cage. Some bikes now actually have accessory mount cages on the top tube or underneath the down tube. Orange have started to do it. YT have done it. Nukeproof have got it too. So you could actually mount this to the specific mounts of your bike, pop in an inner tube, pop in a tool, pop in a CO2, and that will keep it all neat and out of the way. You'll never forget it. It'll always be there on your bike when you need it. So very, very neat little thing. All right, cool. What else do we have? Well, we have these Physique shoes. Now, if you go online and have a look at these, you might see that sometimes they're called an EMTB specific flat pedal shoe. And originally that's what they were designed for. But in reality, these are a really good flat shoe for anyone who wants to have a bit of extra traction on muddy and slippy climbs. Now, I believe the idea behind this shoe was that Physiques believed that maybe EMTB riders would use the walk mode more to climb up even more aggressive and steep slopes, and they would need more traction on the sole. But in fact, this traction is exactly what any flat pedal rider needs. Now, if you guys have been following me through the year and looked at my reviews on single track, you'll have seen that I've tested a bunch of Physique shoes and they are absolutely amazing. I love the fit. I love how lightweight and comfortable they are. I love the material. It's a really nice thin material that breathes. It's very, very cool. It's ripstop and it dries super quickly. But in the winter months, the traction on the Gravitas isn't the greatest. So this is a really nice thing to see. It's got a much, much thicker, chunkier, block-like tread pattern, and maybe all right, not in the super sloppy mud, they're not going to be super great, but in the loam, in the dirt, there's a lot more traction to go at here. Also, they feel a bit stiffer than the Gravitas, so perhaps the idea again, e-bike riders maybe pedal more often, they need a stiffer sole, so maybe these are a really good option for people wanting a more efficient shoe for adventure riding. So I will be putting these through the test. Great looking shoe, even the bright yellow luminous. Speaking of bright yellow and luminous colors, check out my Ryobi Easy Clean 22 bar portable pressure washer. This is an all-in-one cleaning solution. Let's bring this in. So you've got this wand, it bolts, screws into the end of the Ryobi, and it uses a built-in or removable battery here, in this case, to power it, and it means that you can clean your bike no matter where you are. You don't need mains electricity, you don't need running water, you don't need a hose pipe. You can use a hose, a bucket of water, the battery power, and you can clean your bike. Now, a lot of these portable rechargeable pressure washers are absolute garbage. This one is not one of them. This one, if anything, might be a little bit too powerful in certain situations. It's 22 bar, it has a turbo mode on the nozzle, and that is super aggressive at getting dirt and mud off. If you're using the Kingood Protect Gel, it should come off really easy anyway, so you don't need to worry. But if you do choose to get one of these, do watch that high pressure option when you're cleaning around your suspension, your bearings, your dropper post, the seals, and if you're on e-bike, the display and the motor, because I've got a feeling that's just too powerful for those areas. So just be careful with that. But as a really good cleaning option when you're on the trail, if you don't want to put a dirty bike in the back of your car, or because you're already wet and cold and dirty anyway, you may as well clean your bike before you get home, then you can just jump in the shower. This is a really cool option. The good thing is, if you're a Ryobi user already, you don't need a battery, you can just buy the body, and I believe the body's about £100. I paid £140 and got a 5 mAh battery with it, and that gives me 30 minutes of cleaning, so I could do a bunch of bikes as long as I've got enough water. You can get different attachments on the end. I've got this little bottle for foam, so I can put PTs in it, foam it up, get my bike perfectly clean at the trail. This is a really, really cool product. The good news is not too expensive. The bad news is they're currently out of stock, so you can't get one just yet. I'm sorry about that. All right, anyway, so those are the cool products that I'm testing at the moment, but what about the cool news? Well, how about this for some cool news? Muc-Off have got into the insurance game. That's right. Now, we all ride mountain bikes or e-bikes, and they can cost an absolute fortune. So it seems silly not to have a dedicated insurance plan for those bikes. For some reason, I've not seen any other media outlet talk about this Muc-Off insurance scheme. I don't really know much about it myself. I've not contacted them, I've asked them about it, but I've seen the news, I've had the emails, and it seems like a really, really good idea, and it seems to be ran in the same way as a car or home insurance. So you can get discounts if you have multiple bikes insured. You can have, you can get theft cover, you can get personal accident cover, public liability cover. If you don't claim on it, you'll get reduced premiums. You'll get free upgrades. So if you buy a more expensive bike, your insurance quote will be changed automatically. You'll get a no claims bonus. It seems like a really, really cool idea. I've no idea how much it costs. I've not checked it for a quote for myself, but I will be checking it out, and it might be worth you guys checking it out too. You know, mountain bike cycling insurance is really, really worth having. If you lose your bike, it's an absolute nightmare. So to have it covered properly is worthwhile. Other interesting news this week is Patrol Mountain, the Indonesian bike brand. You may have seen me test a few of their bikes. I actually ride their Carbon C091 hardtail and also their 691 Evo Enduro bike. Well, they have a new bike. It's a gravel bike. It's called the CG700. The CG doesn't stand for Cedric Gracia. It stands for Carbon Gravel. 700 the wheel size. It's a full carbon gravel bike, and it's suspension ready geometry too. And they sell two versions of it. Each one comes with the Fox 32 gravel suspension fork. It also has some really, really cool features on there. Fox transfer dropper posts, hydraulic disc brakes, and the top end one has SRAM Apex, I think it is, Axis wireless group set on there. So it's a really, really high-end looking gravel bike. It's a beautiful looking thing. Cannot wait to ride one of those. And the last piece of bike news we have this week is Evil's prototype EMTB. Now this is not new news, should I say, sorry, because any of you guys who read the Vital forums have already seen this. For some reason, other media outlets simply don't look at the Vital forums. I have no idea, but there's some really cool hidden treasures and interesting leaks on there. And one of them was the Evil EMTB, and it was leaked months and months ago. And recently we're seeing more and more about it. I assume it's going to be launching pretty soon. And it looks just as an Evil should look. It has its multi-link design for the suspension. It has an internal battery in the down tube, and it's full Shimano steps. So that should be really, really interesting. And for you guys who like e-bikes, that's not the only secret e-bike been leaked on the Vital forum, so go and check it out. Anyway, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed my first episode of What's New Wednesday. Tune in next time for more cool things, and also keep a lookout for my first look and installation video of the LT Wu 13-speed drivetrain from China. 130 quid, I can't get over it, it's so cheap. Also, there'll be an All Bear Rise unboxing video published very soon, so keep an eye out for that. If you guys have any questions about anything that I've shown you today, please let me know. If you'd like to buy any of this or you'd like more information, check out the links below. They are not affiliate links. I'm not affiliated with any of these brands. I will not make any money out of it. These are just things that I'm either really happy about, like the Kin Good. This is sick stuff. It's so good. And, you know, excited to try it, such as this. But like I say, nothing is affiliated. I won't make any money if you choose to buy it, but links will be in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.